Tap on in right now on YouTube, guys. We are about to cook. So right now I'm looking at our crypto fear and greed level. We're sitting at about 51. And I see that Bitcoin is at $115,103, XRP at 304, Solana's at that 241. And then I'm going to slide down. Chainlink is at $24. HBAR is sitting at about 24 cents, right? So again, we got a lot of momentum. And I noticed a couple things as I was studying for tonight is that there may be some cracks in the Bitcoin treasury companies, right? So I saw something here. It says the honeymoon appears to be over for Bitcoin treasury companies as 1 in 3 now trades are below its market net asset value. Naka stock has dropped sharply in recent weeks, plunging almost 35% intraday. So we're seeing a little bit of these treasuries start to pull back. I know I had a question today. Does anybody invest in crypto in their retirement packages, their 401k? So right now I have yet to discover or know anything. So if you guys know some of those, make sure you send me some DMs because I want to share that with my friends in the Red E. Also, I saw something very interesting. I've seen two things very interesting. One was that there was a higher demand of XRP in Dubai, right? In Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, that there's a limited supply of how much XRP can be bought, which is a very bullish thing because the higher the demand, the higher the price is likely going to go. Also notice here, XRP news, Ripple price support confirmed at $3.10, which we've fallen below that right now as investors bet big on the new altcoin Remedix, right? So there's a couple of altcoins that are starting to come in and move. So I'm going to go over here to the chart. And of course, I do want to take some questions tonight. I'll let you guys know when I'm ready for that, though. And I want to look at the 4-hour time frame right now on XRP. You're going to see me looking here and there. So I'm everywhere, but y'all can listen and take notes. All right. So right now, XRP is holding at $3.03. We actually got a little bit of bearish activity at the moment. And I wouldn't be surprised if XRP pulls down to about $3 right now. But this is going to create another buying opportunity because on the long-term perspective, we're still in a nice uptrend. In fact, if you look at the daily, you could almost say it's in a bull flag, right? And our key level that we want to see on XRP is above $3.24, right? We break that 324. The key level that we need to see broken is around $3.39 on XRP. This is where the magic happens, right? Above that 339, we have an opportunity to push up to that key resistance at 360, and it could actually end up breaking that and going to a new all-time high that we haven't seen before. And I had literally like about $4.07 mapped out, and I wasn't thinking that XRP was going to move into that level till somewhere around November the 12th. It could happen sooner, but we need a catalyst for momentum for that to happen. Okay, so XRP, number one crypto I wanted to look at. We're going to slide on over, take a look at Bitcoin right now as well. I'm super excited because we got the futures ready, and there's a reason why I'm starting with crypto today. You guys need to make sure that you're in Brooklyn, New York on next Friday for the live trading. If you're registered for the VIP, we still got tickets available, or tap in on Saturday for the general admission. The Williamsburg Community Center, man, is going to be lit. We got Chris Sane, Chris Lee, Lawrence Eggleston, Coach Bree, Curtis Quo, and myself. We all about to come in and drop the heat for you guys, so you don't want to miss that. I'll make sure I say a little bit more about that at the end of this live. So right now I'm just looking at Bitcoin. I've been waiting on Bitcoin to get above this $116,722 price point. I got a setup that I specifically like to use for Bitcoin, because I like to look at the global M2 money supply. And we did have a little bit of liquidity at one point back in the day when Bitcoin broke to that $124,000 price point, but we're just barely getting there. We need our next level after we get through this 116,000 is to break that 116,796 on Bitcoin. And then here on our weekly time frame, if we can get back to retest at 124K, I honestly believe that we have an opportunity to see Bitcoin run. But in the meantime, between time, we just got a lot of resistance here on Bitcoin, but we will continue to bounce, right? I do not think that the uptrend is over. This is not Bitcoin, it's Apple. Hold on a second. BTC USD. All right, so I don't think the uptrend was over, but we did hit a bearish breaker block right there at $116,262. This gives us opportunities to continue to dollar cost average and buy more of this crypto, right? So I don't think it's over with. And if we do pull back, I mean, $114,000 is your buy zone on Bitcoin. And as always, I must tell you that this is not financial advice. I don't know how I forgot to say that, right? None of this is financial advice. So you still need to make sure you do your own research. Now, as I'm looking at this 4-hour time frame right now on Jarvis, it is pointing that maybe by the morning we could see that $114,084 price point. My hope is that we don't. Right, but we don't trade on hope, right? Even looking at the volume tick Rogers trick on the daily, is showing a little bit of pullback. So again, we're going to have more buying opportunities on the crypto side. I want the run to happen, but guys, I don't think it's going to take place till somewhere like around November the 12th. Okay, November the 12th is the key date that you want to see for crypto. I will say, Bitcoin's average directional index, right, does have a buy signal right now. As long as we're above that 20, we're starting to get that movement up on the daily, but it has to hold. I just know that it has a lot of resistance, right? Again, make sure you guys are sharing this because I'm giving y'all quite a bit tonight. All right, so let's talk about Ethereum, right? Now, a lot of people ask, okay, is it too late to buy Ethereum? Is it, is it going to come back down? And the possibility is it's likely, right? But it's sustaining itself and holding this $4,600 price point pretty beautifully. We need to see Ethereum break $4,772.60, which is a very important level. There's a lot of resistance here on the 4-hour time frame. And again, we might see about $4,511.91 to give you an opportunity to catch some support and buy the dip on Ethereum. Now, as I zoom out a little bit here, and again, I wish you guys could see, but they said I was using AI. So I got to be careful about sharing my screen too often on Instagram. So again, if you want to be able to see these charts, you can definitely lock in on my YouTube channel, Rogers1906, the Godly Mindset Motivator. We see that right now, Ethereum actually has a bull trap. And if you're just trying to get in, yes, you are late. But that doesn't mean that you won't have another opportunity. Okay. So again, we want to see Ethereum possibly pull back. Key level to watch is 4,489. I think we'll bounce back up from there. If it does get worse than that, 43.56 would be the key level of support on the daily. But I just don't think it's going to get that bad. I honestly think it's going to trade sideways more than anything, but you want to be locked into Ethereum right now. All right, moving on. ENS USD, Real TA live. All right, Real TA right now. All right, so ENS is like your Cash App tag or whatever for Ethereum, right? Just looking at the daily, it's mostly sideways, sitting at $25 right now. Ethereum name service, I think, is still in a good, a golden buying position for the long term, right? It doesn't have resistance till about 28.48, but if and when it breaks that, we're expecting to see $30.79 on ENS USD. The breaker block where it will have some resistance is at $33.29, right? So if we can get above that level, I do think that, of course, by then Ethereum is ran. If we have a $10,000 Ethereum, guys, ENS is going to be worth $46.96, okay? Possibly higher than that. but I do honestly believe that it is going to print, it is going to run, and I think it's a great long-term crypto project, right? But my favorite crypto project is none other than Solana. Now, shout out to the Red E Society, because someone had mentioned, man, we might have a $250 Ethereum by last night, right? So right now we have Ethereum. We did touch 249.82, and we rejected, and there's a little bit of support here at 233.70. Okay, so at 233.70, we might bounce back up. Our key level on Solana will be 259.26. We break 259.26, we're going to get to 284.62. 284.62 is what we want to see on Solana. All right, moving on to the next one. I'm giving you guys crypto first, then we're going to get to the stocks. I got quite a bit on here for you. Some of them I know you guys are already asking about, but we will get hopefully to some questions. I got like 10 stocks I want to give you guys to watch. And I'm doing this simply because my schedule is going to be ridiculous this week. I won't be able to go live Wednesday, Thursday, maybe, and definitely, well, probably Friday for a minute. We'll see. So it's going to be a different type of schedule this week. All right. So looking at this next one is Jupiter USD, which is on the Solana blockchain. I do believe you want to have some type of exposure to this one as well. I really like Jupiter, and it's actually ran from when it was like 30, 40 cents. I think the low was actually right here around 33 cents, and we're sitting at 53. I honestly believe Jupiter is going to trade it to 76 cents, possibly even over $1. I think this is kind of like the Cardano, if you will, of Solana, even though it's under the Solana blockchain. But Jupiter is a really good crypto project that I think that everybody should take some time and research. This one, and also Pyth Network, PYTHUSD. These are all things that I personally keep in my cold storage or in my wallet. It's on my Solana phone. I happen to be live on TikTok on my Solana phone right now as we speak. But Pyth right now is actually the number 7 crypto, and it's 16 cents. We had a high of about 24 cents, and truthfully, I believe this one will be anywhere between 30 and 37 cents. I like this crypto project a lot, as well as Jupiter, all under the Solana ecosystem, right? Here's another one I've been talking about. And literally, I think it's probably been about 2 weeks. We got in at 18 cents. We hit 23 a little bit earlier today, 23 cents. But it's World Liberty Financial, right? This thing continues to give you guys buying opportunities. It goes up to 23 cents, rejects, it comes back down. What I want to see here on this one is for it to hold above that 50 EMA, which is where we are in the 4-hour time frame, and a pushback above 22 to 23 cents and hold there. We got a big breaker block here at 24 cents, and just looking at this 4-hour time frame, turn all the indicators off, it almost looks like we got a cup and handle in one situation. It also looks like an inverted head and shoulders pattern, right, which are two very bullish patterns that you want to see when you're looking at stocks or any chart rather. And I'm going to give you guys a free lesson at the end. I'm going to teach you guys how to look at levels. So if you stick around to the end after I finish stocks, and maybe a few questions, I'll drop that lesson on my YouTube channel for you guys today. All right. So again, World Liberty Financial, 21 cents, a lot of support around 19 cents on this one. All right. The number 9 crypto is Link, LINK. USD. All right. Now, this is one that I know that the Trump team, they are buying the heck out of this one as well as Crow. But Crow is it's just not worth me covering. It's going to move how it moves, right? What's up, CK Carpentry? And I like Chainlink a lot. It has a lot of resistance here, and it really needs to break back above $25. But we're also very consolidated on this 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame for Chainlink. So it's a little bit concerning in the short term, right? But if you zoom out here and look at the weekly, it's still in the buying position, and its the target price is right around $28.35. It has a huge supply or resistance level right there around 31 cents. If it breaks 31 cents, Chainlink is going to fly to possibly $36 all the way up to about I don't know, $50.71. So we got a little while to go to the upside on Chainlink. So all of these pullbacks, again, ladies and gentlemen, are giving us ample buying opportunities to capitalize on these plays, right? This is completely strategical entry points because by November the 12th, it's all going to run, especially this last one, HBAR USD, right? We've been in this thing since like less than a penny, right? It's right now about 24 cents. And we've consistently rejected off that 30 cents, and there's a trend line coming down here on the weekly time frame. We need to see HBAR break and hold above 26 cents. That's going to be a sign that we're starting to get back up to resistance. Remember, the high was like around 40 cents. That was shortly after the lawsuit had taken its final chapters with the SEC and Ripple. And we're going to see HBAR start to make a move to the upside, right? A break above 40 cents is going to be key. But again, our resistance levels at 26 cents, so your target's 26 cents. And then we have 31 cents. So again, my top 10 crypto that I gave you guys today: Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, ENS, Solana, Jupiter, Pith, World Liberty Financial, WLFI, Link, and HBAR. But that's not the end of the story, ladies and gentlemen. We got a really, really big week this week, besides just the future is red E, right? I definitely want you guys to make sure you tap into that. You can get your virtual tickets as well by clicking purchase tickets, and you can choose the virtual option. And I think we still have a 2-for-1 special going on there. So you can go ahead and get your tickets, tap in with us on that Saturday. It's going to be awesome. So everything's ready. We're good to go on that. So y'all make sure y'all lock that in, www.rogers1906.com, and get those tickets. You see the lineup. It's going to be heavy. We got Chris Sane, Bree Hollis, Chris Lee, Curtis Quo, and Lawrence Eggleston, man. So I'm super glad to lock in with my friends. All right, so that being said, let's slide on over to these marksman snipes that I want to share with you guys. Now, all of these, I want you to look at these from a long-term perspective, right? I'm going to start with this one, Apple Bay. All right, so the orders, I think, started being placed, and it was finally good to go to get that new new iPhone, right? And I will talk about the rate cuts as well. I saw somebody put that in the chat. It's coming. Just stick with me. All right. So right now, Apple on the 4-hour time frame, it has an inside bar. It looked like we were going to start pushing up on Apple, and I still think Apple can go to 238.50. I signaled some calls on Apple. I want to say it was last Thursday or Friday. And those things already are printed. I think we got in at like $1.17. A lot of people may have taken profits on Friday, but those contracts were out to like October. So now I'm seeing that Apple has a bearish breaker block right there around 238.50, and it could possibly continue to reject or consolidate from here. Apple moves very, very slow when it starts to move, okay? As I'm looking at the bigger picture, I think that Apple is probably going to be a little sideways going into tomorrow and maybe even Tuesday. But by Wednesday or Thursday, if by some chance, again, I'm going to say if, this 100% likelihood of the rate cut happens, man, y'all, I think Apple is going to possibly push to above 250, maybe even higher than that, bringing SPY, bringing QQQ, the NASDAQ, the S&P index, all of that up to the upside, right? Again, I want to see it print and make money for everybody, because looking at the daily right now, Apple does not have resistance until 241.56. So I think those October, November expiration dates are very wise positions. Even if you can go out to, like, say, I don't know, January, February on Apple, I think it's really solid. Apple's been getting his butt kicked all year long. And we don't have a bearish breaker block till about 250, 230. In fact, you can go write 250, 230 down in your notebook right now, because truthfully, I would like to see that happen by November as well. But there's a possibility that even with the rate cuts, we could still drop in the entire market. So unless these larger market cap tickers move, you know, it's still something to think about. But I can see Apple moving to 250, 230 on some nice momentum, some results of the iPhone sales. That phone looks really, really sweet, and it's very enticing to go and get it. I'm not telling you to buy it, but, just something to think about. Now, looking at the average directional index and the volume tick, looks like we already hit a reject on Apple, and the run might be over with. The only thing that gives me a little bit of excitement is that the volume has broken the moving average. So, still, it's a little bit cautionary. I would watch it before I jump into it. What's up with you, Chewy? Salute to Chewy Vuitton, my brother. So there's a little bit of bullish divergence right now on Apple. But again, I wait to see what happens till about Tuesday or Wednesday with this one, and not necessarily jump the gun, because on the pullback, we could be looking at January, February calls, because it's going to go to 242 up to $252, and I'll tell you to the cents. All right, up to 252. What was that? Come on back here. So actually 255.52 was my target, which is where that bearish breaker block is. Okay. All right. Number two, the stock I want to look at with you guys is Palantir, right? Palantir was crazy for a little while, and then it wasn't, right? We bought those 170 calls that expire, in November, and they printed, right? Some of us took profits a little early. I'm some of us, but I know a lot of the community is locked in. They got the $200 strikes, but y'all, call me crazy if you want to, and that's perfectly fine. You can put crazy in the comments. That's fine with me. I won't block you. I'm not that type of person. So I think it's going to go to about 186.46 for real. I think we're going to have a parabolic run on Palantir, and you had a great buying opportunity on the dip. Now, I think that tomorrow it could possibly come back to give you one more chance, just like Biggie said, right? And it might come back down to about 168.88 and then bounce right back up to where it is right now, that 170.91 and push. I do believe that even on the daily here, we're just now getting started. So again, Palantir has a target price of 186.46. If you're January, February, March 2026 in calls, whether it's $200 strike, whatever, man, you get ready to print money, right? That's all I can say. You get ready to print. Jarvis is actually calling for 180.04 as I'm looking at the chart. Palantir is a beautiful swing trade. All right. Now let's move on to number three. All right. Number three, Tesla. Somebody might say I like doing that, right? No, I'm just playing. So looking at Tesla right now, Tesla broke through my level. I had a target of 398 on Tesla last Friday. I called 395. We got in 380 calls, 0 DTE. And lives were literally changed in the blink of an eye on Friday during our Fish and Friday live trading session, that all of the Elite Trader Blueprint holders, those that have my bundle, they still can jump in that live. There's no extra cost, but also we live trade every day in the Red E Society. We'll be live trading tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. No live trading on Thursday. And I don't know about Friday. I think someone else is going to host for me on Friday. But nevertheless, looking at Tesla right now, we've got a lot of support on this 4-hour time frame. Now, what is concerning is that we have an inside bar. We've got a lot of support, but there's about a 59% chance that Tesla still pushes up. So between now and tomorrow, we might see a parabolic run on Tesla. I want to actually just look at Robinhood real quick, because, they have the after hours trading, right? And just in after hours trading, Tesla is sitting at about $400.28 already. So it's already up. So I'd be curious to see what happens in the morning. I've got extended trading hours on right now, but we know Robinhood hits a little bit different, right? So if we can hold this $400 after hours trading that we're seeing on Robinhood, that would be great. And it looks like we would have broken through all these levels of resistance. And so if we continue this, my next target on Tesla, possibly before Wednesday or Thursday, is right around $405.33, $405.33. We go look at the daily or the weekly here. we'll see that we don't actually have resistance until 441.32. So 441.32 is going to be a key target, even if we're playing lottos at the 500 strike, 450 strike, and we got time on it, we're going to print money. I even saw some people buying some $700 calls on Tesla for like December to average down on it and scale into it and still make money as the stock goes up. You can also play that TSLL, or you can buy puts on TSLQ or TSLS as Tesla's going up. But this is just the beginning on the weekly time frame, guys, of the uptrend for Tesla. Even looking at the relative strength index right now, we got a buy signal that came in here back on July the 14th. Actually, there's the official one. Right around August the 4th, we got that official buy signal come in on Tesla. So Tesla's been getting whooped. Elon is focused on the company. It's still a good opportunity to grab some time on the play for Tesla. Even looking at the moving average, we've broken through. It's confirmed bullish. This is not bearish divergence or bullish divergence. This is straight up a bullish swing trade, and it's already moving in after hours trading on the Robinhood app. So Tesla, ladies and gentlemen, it is not done. I'm just letting you know that right now. It's not done. Moving on to number 4. Nvidia. So Nvidia has been very irritating. We were in some swing trades on Nvidia out to like November. Nvidia, we bought the dip at like 167, 165, something like that. It was 167. That's what it was. So we bought it 167. I was already in it from the earnings. Average down. It ran up like 98%. I took my profits. Some people decided to stay in it. But Nvidia has been very consolidated. Right now, Nvidia in after hours trading is still down. It's actually down about 0.01%, holding this $177 price tightly. We have an inside candle here and a lot of resistance all the way up to about 179.55. We need to see Nvidia break that 179.55, get above 180.27, and push up to about $182 to $183. That dip was lovely, right? Buying those leaps was extremely smart. So B, drink water. Salute to you as well for doing that, right? Because that was the perfect play. I see a couple things in the comments right now. Over on YouTube, everybody's doing good. I'm just now noticing, realizing I had comments on there. But Nvidia, that's what we got to see. But I'm going to tell you guys on the flip side, all right, if Nvidia loses that 10 EMA on the 4-hour time frame at 176.83, it's going to come down as low as 174.65. I think it might hold, though, simply because our 20 EMA did break that 50 EMA on the 4-hour. But this inside candle just is showing a lot of sideways price action on Nvidia. I still think it's a great swing trade. I still agree with the analyst price target of $220 before the end of the year, but it might slightly delay into next year. As more talks about AI happens, Nvidia is going to be your bay. All right. But there's a new bay in town, a new sheriff in town, if you will. And that's Iris Energy, ticker IREN. Look, if you're subscribed to my Instagram or you're a member of my YouTube channel, I gave you 2 tickers. This is one of them. Iris Energy, right? We were buying Iris Energy thanks to Mayhem in the ready, probably like around $7-8, right? We got in super early. He's been scaling in leaps, and I think he's up about like $58,000 or something like that since the original signal. So shout out to you, brother. But it's not done. My boy Sincere, he sent me a message on Wednesday, said, looks like Iris Energy is about to go again. I said, yeah, it's going to hit that 30 piece tomorrow. Hey, I see you, IONQ. We're going to talk about that too. I'll get to some questions today. IREN, right? Iron Energy. So this one's going to go to about 34.83. It might reject at 34.83, but I don't want you to think about this. You got 2 runners left. I see you, right? I think that this thing is going to keep going, and it may go to 72 to almost $80. Again, call me crazy, right? Call me crazy, but I think that there's still about a 65% chance that we continue to push up even on the weekly. As you're looking at my screen on YouTube, what's up, Coach U? Good to see you, bro. So I see Irish Energy still continue to push up, and it's a strong buy in my opinion, right? Now it may actually kind of be at the top, so I would kind of wait for any type of small pullback, but it looks like it's really consolidated. Support is at 33.21. We had a liquidity grab down to 31.27. So truthfully, I wait for it to actually pull back to that 31.67, see if we can touch 30.87 and then buy it at that particular point. But once it breaks 34.81, it's game over. Irish Energy is probably moving even at after hours trading right now. I'm just checking. It's actually up 1%. It's actually at 35.02 in after hours trading. So again, look, if you got in when I told you to, if you're subscribed to my Instagram, or you're a member of YouTube, or if you're in the Red E when Mayhem originally called it out for us, congratulations, you are cooking. All right, but it's not over. It is not over. Again, I got a $50 price target on that. But that's not the only sleeper, right? TeraWulf. I have to say, I was kind of doubtful about this company because I'm like, not another miner, right? We got the Clean Spark, we got Mara, we got Riot. But this thing's actually been cooking, right? It's just a little consolidated right now, give you guys additional buying opportunities, right? So I like TeraWulf. It's at 1075. We had a reversal come through on Friday, and it could possibly come back down to maybe about 992-ish and bounce right back up. Or we could continue to just move sideways here, just looking at the 4-hour time frame. But as Bitcoin continues to move and the demand continues to increase, we're going to see TeraWulf break above 1119. That is going to be the sign that it's ready to go right now, right? 1119 is going to push us to about 1287, and we're going to run, right? So yes, IREN and WULF. Now, here's another ticker that is somewhat of a sleeper, but I saw a lot of options being bought on this one Friday. Altria Group. Now, this is still a great entry, right? And I purposely saved this one for close to the end because it just got the buy signal on the daily, and it has a lot of support, and it's still creating opportunity for you to get in this week for a long-term play. It's going to have some resistance right there at 67.02, all right? But once it breaks above 67.61, we're probably going to see this thing fly to over $70, okay? Analysts call for this thing to be about $73 by the end of next year. They say it's overvalued right now. Go do some research on Altria Group, but options are being bought, right? Earnings don't take place on this one till October 30th. So again, I like anything after that date. Anything after that date, all right? Again, ticker is MO. All right, here's the next one on the list. Shout out to Warren Buffett. United Healthcare, right? Now, United Healthcare did hit a high and had a reject right there at 362.31. I think that United Healthcare is going to cool off a little bit because there's been a lot of attention on this ticker since Warren Buffett mentioned that he was adding it to his portfolio. Now, I don't think it's going to be a huge sell-off on United Healthcare, but I do believe that it will possibly pull to about 349.07, right? Maybe even down to 345.94. The strat on the 4-hour time frame does show a sell signal, but if you're in January, February calls like the Red E Society is, you're going to get that 362 tested again, and then you're going to see it break that 200 EMA on the daily right around 390.22. And yes, my friends, United Healthcare calls will be back in the 500s come March of next year. Insurance is one of those things that you just can't crush, all right? You just can't crush it. So UNH, once it breaks that 457, like I said, look at the historical, where the highs were. I think the highest high was around 645.50. My target is being very modest at 518.41 by March, okay? But we're going to break that. And you still got an opportunity to get in, even now on this pullback. But like I said, don't be surprised if it comes back at 345.94 before it starts to run. All right, moving on to the number 9 ticker on my list tonight, RGTI. Man, that chart looks super beautiful, right? It's at $19.09. Guys, I told you back in December of last year at the Gramercy Theater to put RGTI on your radar. At the time, I think it was like $6, maybe less than that. Let me see. This is the weekly. Where is December 24? So yeah, it was like around $3.15 up to about $6, right? So it literally ran the following week after I mentioned it there at that event. And it went all the way up to that high of about $21.42. Well, friends, it's getting ready to break that higher high again, possibly by the end of this week. And we're going to see more talks of quantum computing, your IONQ, your QUBT, your QBTS, all of that's going to run. I just like Rigetti Spaghetti, right? I guess that's the reason why I like it is because of the name. I think it's going to go to 2777, but the technology that they have is great, but none greater than IONQ, right? IONQ is boo, right? They have that partnership with Nvidia, have had it for years, started looking at IONQ when it was only $7 a share, right? So I like RGTI and IONQ for my quantum computing plays. QSI is great. QUBT is great. QBTS is great. All of them are great, but these are the ones that I personally like, okay? You don't have to do what I do. I'm just saying these are my top 2 quantum computing plays, and I want to just put that out there for you guys, right? But again, with IONQ, we're at all-time highs right now at 55.61. This thing is going to go to 76.21 possibly before the end of the year. If you're in leaps, $100 calls by March, I think those will go. In fact, let me just see how far you can go on those options on IONQ. Looks like the latest is January 15th. And the highest strike you can buy is the $75 call. It'll run you about $15.50. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to be worth over $25, $26 before it expires, or even before we get even close to that. So I like those leaps on IONQ. They're a little expensive. The premiums are high. If you're looking at that 2027 out of the money $75 call, but IONQ and RGTI, those are my top 2 quantum computing plays. I didn't even plan on mentioning IONQ. I do have one more sleeper, but before we do this, make sure that you share this live right now, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, because I got to give credit to my boy, YOLO Stock God. I know he's probably upset that Canelo lost the fight yesterday. And yes, we can. We definitely can end in prayer. But I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I want to take some questions in just a minute. But I want to give a shout out to my brother, Chris, YOLO Stock God. And also, YOLO, I see you over there. Nick D, I see you, bro. But this next ticker is one I absolutely love. And I think that, well, I know you're going to hear me talk about it again. Reddy's already there. My members on YouTube are already there. And, of course, those subscribed to my Instagram channel, you already got this smoke as well. I knew he was going to lose, too. I actually bet on the fight. And I won at like $129 because I'm not a gambler, right? So, at any rate, Bitfarms is currently at $2.23. We were buying this at $1.19. I'm not a goat either, guys. I promise you. Don't call me a goat. I'm just a shepherd, man. That's it. Goats are stupid. They bang their head against stuff. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. So Bitfarms right now is at $2.23. I think it's going to break $4.10 very, very soon. You're looking at a $10 to $20 stock in the next few months. They're in Philadelphia. So I don't know if you recall when all that money was flowing in for energy change in Philadelphia, Bitfarms is going to capitalize on a lot of that money. They're mining Bitcoin. They've got a whole bunch of stuff going, and it's getting ready to rock, right? We got a little bit of resistance right here at around 284, which we could see that tested, soon. But honestly, the buying pressure has begun. We got a lot of support, and it's about to fly, Eagle fly, all the way up to 279. We might reject at 279, but ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful stock, and I'm absolutely in love with it, right? So I want to take some questions, and then we'll close this thing out in prayer. I do see a couple things over here on YouTube. How we doing? Aldolfo, good to see you. Hey, Tanya, what's up, D? Good to see you. Got your Superwoman patch. What's up, Crystal? LP, how you doing? Good evening, Angela. There's my boy Sincere. We need this Sunday energy back from you, my brother. Yeah, I'm gonna try to start popping in every now and then. I see a couple questions coming through on Instagram. I am gonna touch on those. Tino said Nvidia has been playing with my feelings. There's my boy Coach BU. What's up, fam? All right, so here's one I really like from YouTube, and then I'm gonna snatch some here on Instagram. I have to scroll up to catch y'all. So first one I want to talk about here in the comments is ACHR. And I really like this play. And I'm actually going to give y'all a signal. Why not, right? Let's bring the red E to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook for free today. Why not? Let's just bring the red E in the house. Red E Society. Y'all all up in here, right? So I think it's trying to open. But here it is, ACHR, Archer Aviation. I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame. We're probably going to push up to about $9.55 really soon. And I saw my brother, my good friend, none other than Jack himself, Jackie James Kinney, post a signal after we already got in one on Friday. And I'm going to give you guys both of them right now, right? So, again, not financial advice. The ACHR $10 call, January 16, 2026, money printer. All right, let's slide on down a little bit more. This is what I signaled. Just to scale into it, ACHR $20 call, January 15, 2027, money printer, right? Money printer. Now let's actually go look at the chart. Shout out to the Red E Society. Thank you for letting me share what's in the house. Okay, not Siri, be quiet. All right. So at any rate, as I'm looking at this thing, we've got a lot of resistance right there at that 956. But truthfully, y'all, I like this more of a swing than anything. And I pointed this out to the Ready, and I'm going to point it out to you guys. I also pointed out to those who had the Elite Traders Blueprint that were live trading with that. Again, the call was a $10 call for January 2026 and the $20 call for January 2027. Those are the two that we were looking at. But this is what I want to point out to you guys. For those that you can see my screen, every time ACHR hit that 50 EMA, which happens to be the pink line on the screen if you're looking on YouTube or Facebook, we saw a nice bounce to the upside. The first time it ran for 7 days with 128.56% gain. Second time, right, it ran for 35 days for 164% gain. Now we've touched the 50 EMA again now, and there's still a slight possibility, very slight possibility, it could pull down to the 200-day EMA. But this next run that ACHR is going to have should last for about 91 days. And I'm looking for 192% gain, pushing it well over $20. Easily. So I really do like this play as a swing. I'm giving y'all free game right now, right? Speaking of, well, I don't know if I'm going to do the levels. I might not have time to do that. My wife is going to be like, come on to bed. Bring your tail to bed, Mark. At any rate, so let me take a few questions here on Instagram. I see a few things that came in that I did want to answer again. I saw some of my great friends that I haven't seen in a while here. Hey, Goldie Rose, good to see you. Here's one I just want to see, AMD over Nvidia. All right, let's take a look at that together because there's a lot of love for AMD right now. They say that AMD is quietly taking the space that Nvidia once held. But I tell you, AMD is probably going to fall back to about 157.70 tomorrow, especially if Nvidia continues to pull back. They're going to have to share some dynamic, amazing news about a semiconductor that is more powerful than the Blackwell, that can do 10 times better than what Nvidia can do. And right now, the 4 hour is giving me an inside candle, and it still looks like it wants to push, but there's a lot of upside liquidity. So first thing I want to see is, what does the volume say, right? The volume tells me that AMD is in a bear trap, meaning this is time to buy. All right, just looking at the TA only, not financial advice, but the TA is telling me, yes, it is time to buy. All right, it hasn't broken the moving average, but it's pretty daggone close, even on the daily. But we've got a lot of support right here, and it could still pull back just a little bit to maybe 155.01, creating another good opportunity for the long-term trade on AMD. The absolute support on AMD was right around 149, and that took place roughly around September the 8th. All right, looking at the daily. But AMD has been respecting a trend line and will slowly push itself back up to about 168.50, and then ultimately test some resistance at 184.68. But again, it may be slightly delayed November, December, because their next earnings doesn't take place till November the 4th, which is going to be before Nvidia reports again, right? And again, they said that they didn't come to play. So I do think AMD is a great play. Salar Gussa, 2183. I think they both are great, but I hope that helps you. All right, let me see what else we got over here. Gemini, will it run? So that's GMNI, right? I think isn't that right? What's the ticker for Gemini? I didn't buy it. I was GEMI. All right, I didn't buy it. I had an order in, and then I was like, nah, they're manipulating the price. There's a 90-day lockup period, I believe, for this one. There's a lot of support at 31.49. I think that Gemini might trade sideways for a second. And yes, eventually it will run. I think you still will have an opportunity to get locked in now that it's been listed on the market. But I think by Tuesday or Wednesday, you're going to be able to trade options on Gemini. And then I do believe it will retest about 45.51, possibly after November. Again, y'all keep hearing that date. Possibly after November, you're going to see Gemini pick up. Right now, the TA is going to be very limited because it just became public, okay? I'm seeing a lot of that trappy volume that we don't like. And so I would say just give it a couple of days before you even decide to play one side or the other, right? But eventually, yes, it's going to go back above $45. Right now, let it cool off. It's going to be a little bit of profit take, a little bit of sell-off. And then when Bitcoin starts to run, with XRP and all the other crypto altcoins and things start to run, Gemini going to take off with it. So will Coinbase. So will MicroStrategy. All right. Cycling back up here. RGTI, what was my price target? I said this one is probably going to go to about a little over 1945, all the way up to about 2172. And then above 2172, it can go to about 2777 on RGTI. All right. Let's see. Somebody said I might have to join the ready. We got room for you, man. Come on. Here's one I want to answer. When would it be a good idea to get out of XRP and maybe invest into small cap like Doge, HBAR, SHIB, etc.? Average price on XRP is 68 cents. So I'm not a financial advisor, but me personally, I don't think getting out of XRP is a wise decision. I think that you need to HODL as much as you can. Always take out your initial investment. So when you have your initial investment, you've made that money, you can always sit on that for a while. But I honestly believe we're going to see another big move on XRP. I got a message from Sincere earlier. I wonder if it'll let me pull it up while I'm live here. And it will. And it said, breaking OTC desk in Dubai are reportedly running out of XRP as demand skyrockets. Liquidity is tightening. Institutional buyers are stepping in, and the Middle East is showing massive appetite for XRP. Could this be start of a global supply squeeze? So XRP is getting ready to do something, man. We just need everything to kind of cool off with all the rhetoric here in the U.S. with crypto, but that's probably not going to happen until around November the 9th. Okay, so I'm checking a few more things here. Somebody asked me about SoundHound. I've always thought this company was trash. Always have. But I'll do the TA. SoundHound needs to break above 1556. I think it's a lot of attention on this one. It's probably about to lose this 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. If it does lose that, that means support is now lost right around 1385, and we might see SoundHound drop back to about $12.73, right? At $12.73, it will likely bounce back up to that 13, maybe where it is now at $14.19, and then test a key level resistance right around $14.92. The setup is mostly bearish on SoundHound right now, but the volume is very bear trappish. RSI is mostly sideways, so I don't think it's really going to move any way or the other, right? I think it's going to be mostly sideways than anything, okay? All right, here's another one I saw on YouTube from one of our members. Thoughts on BLSH. BLSH. This is one I haven't heard. Oh, bullish. All right, so I have heard this one. I just have never traded it. So right now, just looking at the 4-hour time frame, bullish actually might come down to about 49.27. It's about a 62% chance that we get a nice drop on BLSH. I actually want to jot this one down for some possible puts. But once it hits that support at 48.16, I would expect a possible retest at some point to about 54.42. Let's zoom out to about the daily time frame. And it looks like all of the pullbacks might be somewhat bear traps because we are breaking some critical EMAs, but this is still fairly new. And it had a high of around, $117. We still might pull back just a little bit here because as I'm looking at the candle setup, yeah, it looks pretty bearish, right? I am gonna give y'all some tips today. Why not? It's got a bearish candle. I would expect this again to come back to about 47.68. All right. All right. So let's see. Let's take like 2 or 3 more. Sergio, thanks, Mark. Always good to see you. Miss you on the morning sometimes, man. I can't wait to see you, bro. Come on back to where you belong. Hey, Mark, thoughts on Circle? All right. CRCL. All right, I'm going to take one more from Instagram too, and I think it's going to be SMCI. All right, so Circle right now caught a little bit of support on the daily. It's got an inside candle. Right now, it's going to trap you, bull trap you, if you decide to buy it, because it could possibly come back down to about 119.09 to the downside this week. After the rate cuts, though, we're probably going to see this thing bounce back up. I will never work with him again, ever. So that being said, I'm gonna keep moving. All right. So yeah, 110.41 will be the absolute support on Circle. It looks like the volume right now is giving that bull trap vibe. But again, after the Fed rate cut, I think that this thing is gonna run, man. Circle's gonna run. Volume tick looks sideways. The daily looks like it's going to collapse a little bit. So let's see if it pulls back or if it goes sideways a little bit on Circle. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of momentum. Let's look for a downtrend target of about 122.50 and as low as 113 on Circle for a bounce back up to the upside, okay? It's all good, man. So Circle looks really good. All right, so here's the last one, and then I'm going to give you guys a lesson. This will be on the YouTube channel. Go back and watch the end of the replay, y'all. I see a whole bunch of dope stuff coming in on Instagram. On YouTube right now. Y'all gonna make me want to stay a little bit longer. It's 8:34 my time. Maybe I can squeeze in like 2 more. All right, so SMCI is my wife here nah, she ain't on TikTok right now. All right, so right now SMCI did reject at the 200 EMA at 45.43. It possibly will retest about 44.40. I think the SMCI is going to be very consolidated, trading sideways for the most part, short term. All right, I like SMCI leaps. This is still a discount buying opportunity. Your monthly has a hollow candle, which I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to teach you guys that tonight. Super easy lesson. Again, we do this each and every day in the Ready Society. Every Tuesday, we have mentorship. I taught a lot of this stuff in our mentorship program. So y'all need to lock in. Mentorship program is free for members. I hate for you to go and spend $250 for a mentorship program when you can come and spend $75 a month, get it for free each and every day. All right. So come on. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. SMCI on the monthly time frame. Why not use this as an example? All right. So if you're on TradingView, I want you to go to your candles. We know, you have the volume candles, you have your Hashinaki candles, you've got all these other things, right? Look at the hollow candle setup, right? Easy lesson here. If the candle is hollow, that means that it is a bullish candle. If the candle is solid, it is a bearish candle. All right. So I'm looking at SMCI right now on the monthly time frame. And those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, you can see right now we got a hollow candle on the last closing candle on the monthly, right? Indicating that this is a bullish setup. Now, technically, if we zoom in a little bit, looks like we have a head and shoulders pattern on the monthly time frame, and SMCI could possibly come down less, right? So SMCI could possibly reject and come down more. Looking at the monthly, the weekly though has a buying candle. The daily has a solid candle, but it's green. All right. So we may be sideways, but I want to point this out right now as I'm looking at it. There's a big gap that was established back on August the 6th on the daily on SMCI at 48.10. And works its way all the way up to about 56.87. Eventually, every gap will get filled. Since we saw those hollow candles on both the weekly and the monthly time frame, again, you saw me go to it, hollow candles. We saw them on the weekly and the monthly time frame, 3 months out, 6 months out. I'm expecting a run on SMCI. Might have a little bit of resistance near term. So if I buy it at a particular price, I may have to scale in, do a cheaper cost below the bid. So it automatically just fills below the bid. And I'll have to sit up there and watch it all day. I can go swimming, do some push-ups or whatever, go to the gym. But SMCI will eventually fill this gap and get back to about 56.87. But it won't happen this week. Probably won't happen next week. But at least 3 to 4 months, maybe 6 months out, you're going to see that gap fill, and SMCI is going to be at 56.87. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can make these real quick. What's up, AK47? Always shout out to you, Fred. What's going on? 1906. All right. Duolingo. All right. This time we'll turn on my indicators. Duolingo is getting cooked right now because of Apple. But looking at the daily, it's trying to break through a breaker block that was once resistance, right? It had like a 63% upside, but then when Apple released those headphones, the competitive edge got a little bit more tighter for Duolingo, and now we're seeing a lot of dead cat bounces, and I think that Duolingo possibly is going to come back to about 294.98 and maybe even 291.13. Great program, great app. However, it's going to be a lot easier for us to communicate other languages because of these wonderful AirPods, right? So, and I think the AirPods should work with iPhone 15 and up. So if you got the 15, you'll still be able to get the translations. So I think that's going to make the competitive market very high for Duolingo, meaning that they will have an oversupply of their product. The demand is going to decrease. Once the demand decreases, so will the stock price. So I'm looking for 291.13, possibly 273.42 or lower for Duolingo. Duolingo does not have earnings again to November the 5th, so we'll see how much of a disruption that we have from these now AirPods, and maybe Google and Microsoft may make some too. If that market continues to increase, we're going to see demand for the apps like Duolingo to decrease as well. So I'm bearish on Duolingo. It is what it is. I guess that's the only thing I can say. The AirPods made it a little bit competitive. Volume tick is showing sideways, and of course, it's not overbought, but I'm seeing a lot of selling pressure on multiple time frames. Now, the weekly had a buy signal that was coming in, but I just don't think it's going to hold. Even the 3-day had a buy signal that was coming in, even a daily, but I just don't think it's going to hold. That selling moving average is starting to creep in. Like I said, Apple has now become a disruptor for the product that Duolingo has, okay, unless they make some headphones too. All right, here's another one. Somebody asked me, what is November 12th? That is when Swift banking system is completely gone. We've gone full ISO 222. All right, here's another. I'm going to move really quick on these last few, and then I'm going to pray us out. All right, I'm going to pray us out. You joined late. I'm not sure if you touched on, but your thoughts on powerful potential interest rates. I'll talk about that before I pray us out. All right, so right now, Uber's at $95.89. I've said it time and time again, this should be a $100 stock. Looking at the 4-hour time frame of it all, we're right at a bearish breaker block, so it might reject and pull back to about 95.18. I'll even say as low as test at 94.08, bounce off that 94.08, come back to where it is now at 96.26, break through, and then get to about 97.48. Most times when I see Uber come up, Tesla's usually going down. I think that when Tesla's going up, Uber's kind of pulling back. So as Tesla continues to push, I'm thinking Uber might come down a little bit more to about that 94.10, possibly consolidate there. And then I think some crazy news is going to happen. We're seeing Uber and Lyft and now Tesla all moving. So I think this is all going to be solid, right? So here's the last thing I'm going to say. No, it's not. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Thank you so much, Felix, for mentioning that. And then, of course, go to my website, www.rogers1906.com. We do stuff like this each and every day, right? We live trade every morning. Sometimes I'll be like, look, I'm just doing TA only, guys. But we're pretty much in there every single day. The chat is full of some great analysts. And not only that, in the Red E Society, we're not greedy over here, right? We have an affiliate program that pays our members 30% back, 30%, you heard me, for everybody that they refer automatically. I don't touch it. I have nothing to do with it. Don't ask your personal information. We have an affiliate program to put money back in our members' pockets. So again, this is not just about the money. This is about the impact, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just so glad to be a part of that. So go on over to my website, click join here, right? And then when you hit subscribe, right, use discount code 10OFF. You'll pay $75 a month, and we'll be glad to have you be part of our community, right? Wow. I got to take this one. Shout out to Joseph Jr. Damas. That's my guy. Joe Smooth. So let's talk about this one real quick. This is the last one. I said that the last time. I'm a minister, so we close about 4 or 5 times. All right. STAI. All right. STAI. So if you know I'm still in this bad boy. I use like literally chump change of what I have left over in my account at the end of the day. And I buy more and more shares of STAI. I think long term, this thing is probably going to go to 25, 30 bucks. And right now, it's only 42 cents. It may take a couple years. It may take 5, 10 years. But Scantech AI, what's unique about this company, and you think about those cameras like in China that it scans your face, it can see all that other kind of stuff. That's Scantech AI for you. It's about 41 cents. It does have resistance right now. I've seen it pump as high as 46 cents, and it was green, right? I know some people have over 1,000, 2,000 shares, but once it breaks 52 cents, It's going to go to 59, which is right where that 200 EMA is. It's got a bearish breaker block at 62 cents. You're going to see a lot of profit taken on the way up here. I'm going to hold this thing for as long as it takes for it to get to $10 to $20, because that's where it's going, Joe. It's going to go, and I'm going to be right there for the ride. All right. So that being said, guys, let's give God some glory tonight, man. I haven't been on live on a Sunday in a very, very long time, but I gotta share this. Oh my God. Hakeem Odd, he says, join the Red E and have my first $1,000 trade. Now I've had multiple this month. My trading is getting drastically better. If you're ready to take it serious, join the Red E. It is the best trading community. To God be the glory. There are many great trading communities. I'm just one of them, just part of one of them, right? And I love to give everybody their flowers. And I want to start doing lives, just let you guys introduce this. That's how unselfish I am. I want everybody to know about people like Wall Street Trapper, about Chris Sane, about Bree Hollis, Coach Bree, about Trade with Cam, about Wall Street, Ben Black, about Trading in Color, all of these companies, about Fortune Finders, right? All of these great people have created communities to help change financial literacy. EYL, I mean, they're pretty much the godfather of this stuff, right? We want to make people's lives change and teach people what they didn't want to teach us in school. So thank you so much, Hakeem. This is purpose driven, man. And that's why I say, you know, man, I'm not the GOAT. I'm not the GOAT. I'm a servant, man. I'm a servant. Shout out to my brother, Caleb. He says, continue keeping God first and making that money. And look, that's my charge to you guys tonight. Keep God first and make that money. So just a quick recap for those of you who missed it. I gave you guys 10 crypto projects I really like, not financial advice, that I want you to go look at. XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, ENS, Solana, Jupiter, Pith, WLFI, World Liberty Financial, Link, and HBAR. All right, those are my top 10. And then on the stock market side, we talked about Apple, Palantir, Tesla, Nvidia, IREN, Wolf, WULF, MO, UNH, RGTI, also honorable mention IONQ, and the gem of gems, Bitfarms, right? We also did some wonderful TA, so please go back and watch the replay. And most importantly, always keep God first, and then secure the bag. Join the Red E Society. Get your virtual tickets to The Future is Red E. I'm going to put that on the screen right now before we get ready to get out of here. Man, I'm super excited to see my people, man. This is going to be off the chain. I can't wait to see you guys this Friday. It's going to be beautiful, right? Let's go out on the yacht Friday night and just enjoy that good old Brooklyn, New York air, right? So let's go to God in prayer this evening. Again, I thank you guys so much for tapping in with me. I said this is just a Sunday special with your guy Rogers 1906. So today, let's give God all the glory. So Heavenly Father, we thank you right now, God, for the ability to surrender unto you. Father God, we thank you for every man and woman that was here on tonight. God, I pray that you bless our mindset, God. God, I learned today in the word is that sometimes we need to unlearn to relearn the power of surrender. Father God, to take the weight off of our shoulder. God, you said in your word that your yoke is easy and your burden is light. So God, I ask that you help me, help my brothers and sisters here know that we cannot do any of this, trading, running a business, going into a job, parenting, marriage, anything without you. So God, we ask right now that you help us, God, to be better today, better tomorrow than we were on yesterday. God, we thank you for every moment that our heart beats. God, we thank you, God, for your word. We thank you for the peace that you give us that surpasses all understanding. And God, we thank you for the promise that you have, God. God, I thank you for the community. Father God, the community within the Red E Society and other communities out here trying to make an impact into financial literacy, to change the mindset of people that live positively and show it, not just for the money, but God, from right here in the heart So God, we thank you, God, for having a good heart, for treating people right, treating people the way that you would treat them. God, we just want to glorify you, God, not just in words, not just for likes, God, not just for shares, but God, because we love you, God, because you've been faithful to us, God. So God, right now, we thank you for good health. God, we thank you for your word. We thank you for your divine power. We thank you for the ability to submit to you. So God, just help us, God, in the areas that we're weak. Help us and help us to forgive others, Father God, whether they have not even forgiven us for things that we didn't even do. So Lord, we love you. We thank you. Please receive this prayer. God bless everybody on the other side of that lens. And once again, God, I thank you, God, for everyone that was here on tonight. And it is so, Lord, receive this prayer. In the name of Jesus, I do pray, God. I love you. It's personal. It's personal, God. And it is so. Amen. Amen. Look, God bless y'all. Thank you once again for locking in with your boy. I'll see you guys briefly tomorrow. I don't go live on Mondays. I go live on Tuesday. I'll be live on Tuesday. But I don't know. We might do something a little different. It looks like the night's jumping, right? So I might start doing stuff at night too. Why not, right? We got an event this week. So show up, show out, and be out. Y'all be cool. What's up, Bree? All right. And there we go. All right, guys, y'all have a good one. And for you, my friends, why not? One more quick thing. Let's just steal the moment. I see it's still a few of you guys here. So let me give y'all a gem. All right. So let's talk about, I wish I could do this on the other things. Let's talk about something really brief. I want to share my screen one time. All right. So let's just go right over here to Bitcoin, BTC, USD. You guys should be able to hear me. I didn't put it on there. BTC, USD. If I could just type it. There we go. All right. So let's talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to go to the daily, and I'm going to literally show you how to map levels right now, live. Okay. All right. So first things first, I'm going to look at this most recent candle on the daily. All right. So right now, this is a hammer. All right. Which is really a bearish candle. And then I gave you guys a cheat code with the hollow candles tonight. All right. Also, I see right here that we had a big level of resistance that came in back on Friday, the 12th. So I'm actually going to throw a line right here, and I'm going to say on this line that this was resistance 9, 12, 25, BTC resistance. Okay. All right. And then guess what? I'm looking at the bottom levels here. I want to go ahead and say what this is. This is my one day time frame, top, last candle. I don't normally do stuff like this, but why not? And then my 1 day time frame, bottom, last candle. All right. So now I want to see where's the next bottom, which is right here on the same day where we had that resistance, September the 12th. All right, I'm going to draw another line right there. All right, and I'm going to say 9/12/2025, next downside target. All right, mind you, you don't see any indicators here. All right, I'm going to do this as if I'm day trading, okay? So I go from the daily, I'm going to look at the 4 hour. So I can kind of see it from another lens. Of course, I can map out the next bottom below the line that I have here as a potential target price of 114, right? I could even label that and say 4 hour downside target. And then I could put today's date, okay? And then I just kind of want to come in and get a little bit more surgical. I'll look at the 65-minute time frame. And I can kind of see the trends of what's happening. So when the trades move and it breaks a certain level, now I can calculate my exit, my entry, and give these all different labels and different names, right? But I always like to start when we're mapping levels, we're planning out the next day. I may start with the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, the 65-minute, and then when I get right here to the 15-minute time frame, this, my friends, is what I call the sweet spot. Okay, I like this time frame because it moves slow, but it gives me what I need to see on the market. Join the ready tomorrow, and I'll tell you why. All right, and then I'll show you where we go from here. This is very important, but you'll thank me later, even with what I gave you on tonight. So that being said, y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. Peace.
Okay. It's us.